Hi, I'm Tony Van Veen, CEO of Discmakers. Does your music need mastering before you make CDs or upload it to the streaming platforms? Yes. Yes, it does. I hope you found this helpful. I'll see you next time. Really, that's as short as this video could be. Now, I imagine you might be thinking, but my mix sounds so amazing. How could mastering possibly make it better? Well, I'm going to tell you how. But first, let me refresh you quickly on what mastering is and does. Mastering is the final creative step in the recording process before your music is commercially released. After you multi-track in the recording studio and then mix down to 2 tracks, mastering makes sure that when your music hits the radio, or your earpods, or the car speakers, or the club speakers, or any listening environment at all, that it sounds great. As you probably know, Discmakers has our own sound lab with multiple mastering rooms. I'm in the room we call our green room right now. So we know a thing or two about post-production, as mastering is occasionally called. When you get your track mastered, an experienced mastering engineer takes your mixed down 2-track master and starts by listening to it. The engineer looks at the levels, the balance in the mix, and a whole range of other variables. Is it too loud? Is it too quiet? Too much bass? Not enough bass? Too much treble? Is your master sibilant? That's when the S sound or the T sound can be slightly distorted. Is there any hiss? Are there any extraneous noises on the master? And if you're releasing an album, do the songs flow from one to another with similar volume and EQ profile? The mastering engineers know how a commercial release should sound in any genre, and then they go to town. They may use compression or limiting or a de-esser, and they certainly use EQ to make your sound as good as possible. The end result? A master that is well balanced from an EQ perspective and from a volume perspective, which doesn't sound too loud or too quiet or too jarring if you hear it amid other songs on a playlist or in a nightclub. At Discmakers, we manufacture a couple of thousand CD projects every month. Of all the projects we handle, somewhere between 20 and 25% have our sound lab do the mastering. We estimate that another quarter of our CD projects are mastered at some other commercial mastering studio, and that leaves half of all CD projects that are released without mastering. And when I ask why, the answer is usually one of 2 things. 1, I don't have the budget, and 2, it already sounds perfect. So let me address each of these points. I have a lot of empathy for you if you don't have the budget to master your song or your album. This happened to me way back in the dinosaur days when my band released their album. We thought it sounded good in the studio, we didn't have a few $100 to master it, so we released the album without the post-production mastering. And here's what happened. Every time I listened to that album, particularly after listening to some other band's album, I felt that our sound was kind of low and kind of muddy. But it sounded so great in the studio. Believe it or not, this happens all the time. In the studio, you listen to it loud, and the speakers, frankly, may not be properly calibrated. One of the most valuable things about mastering your project is that it introduces a fresh set of ears from an impartial, experienced mastering engineer into your creative process. Your mastering engineer wasn't there during the tracking and mixing. They're hearing it for the first time with fresh ears on different speakers. In fact, part of the mastering process includes the engineer listening to your music on multiple sets of speakers. And it can tell then exactly what the master needs to sound great compared to other similar projects. In my case, I regretted not mastering our album for 25 years until we decided to re-release our album as a remastered 25th anniversary edition. And trust me, it sounded much better. So if you have to beg, borrow, or steal, and please don't steal, or just wait a bit longer to save money for mastering, take the advice from this old dinosaur. Do it. Spend the money for your release to sound its very best when you introduce it to the world. Now, what about the second reason for not mastering? The "it already sounds perfect" reason. No, it doesn't. It may sound great in the studio, but it's not perfect for commercial release. Look, who are the biggest artists out there today? The Weeknd, Drake, Metallica with their new album, Taylor Swift, you name it. They record in the best studios in the world with 6, maybe even 7-figure recording budgets. You could reasonably argue that their mixes are perfect when they're done. Do you think their labels release their albums without mastering? Not a chance. Even mixes that are ostensibly perfect get mastered. And because of the high quality of their recordings, they may not need that much work in mastering, but they still do it. Now compare that to your master, which may have been recorded in a mid-level commercial studio or a project studio. Trust me, no matter how perfect it sounds in the studio, your master will benefit from mastering. Look, mastering is remarkably affordable today. At our Discmaker Sound Lab, you can get a song master for just $49. It's a great deal to have an engineer with decades of experience mastering independent projects who knows how to get the most out of every recording, work on your song or album to optimize the sound before it hits your CD or the streaming services. So don't be like Tony Van Veen some 30, actually almost 40 years ago and skimp on the mastering and end up regretting it. If you want your project to sound its best, get it mastered. I'd love for you to do it with our Sound Lab. You don't even need to make CDs. We master plenty of tracks and albums that go straight to streaming. You can find out more at discmakers.com/soundlab. But whether we do your mastering or whether you use an independent mastering studio, the important thing is to not skip this essential step for any music that you are releasing commercially. I hope you found this helpful. I'll see you next time. We are done for real now.